Every day, we wake up with thousands of thoughts running through our minds. Some thoughts make us stronger, but others quietly pull us down without us even realizing it. The most frightening thing is not that life is too difficult, but that we have become used to living with a mind filled with negativity, doubt, and exhaustion. Many people want to change their lives, yet they do not understand that the outer life always begins from the inner world. According to Buddhist wisdom, people do not become what they wish for. They become what they repeatedly think about every single day. A seed, once planted in the soil, gradually grows over time. Your mind is the same. If every day you nurture fear, anxiety, and insecurity, your life will slowly become covered in darkness. But if you learn to cultivate peace, gratitude, and awareness, your future will also begin changing in a very different way. Many people believe that success or happiness depends on money, appearance, or circumstances. But Buddhism teaches that the true source of suffering or happiness lies within the mind. Two people can live in the exact same circumstances, yet one constantly suffers while the other remains peaceful. What creates the difference is not the world, but the way they think about that world. Have you ever realized that most of our pain does not come from the present moment, but from the thoughts inside our heads? We worry about things that have not happened yet. We fear the future. We torment ourselves over the past. And as the days pass, the mind becomes an invisible prison that traps us inside ourselves. The body may still be free, but the soul has already become exhausted. Buddhism calls this the illusion of the mind. When people cannot control their thoughts, they are easily swept away by greed, anger, comparison, and insecurity. We react to everything through temporary emotions without awareness, and over time, those thoughts gradually shape personality, habits, actions, and eventually create destiny. That is why there are people who constantly live in negativity even though their lives are not truly bad. They have become accustomed to seeing everything through pessimism. They always think they're not good enough. They constantly feel inferior to others. And the more they think that way, the more they lose the energy needed to change their lives. But the beautiful thing is this: the mind can be transformed. In Buddhism, the greatest change does not begin from the outside world, but from observing and mastering your own thoughts. When you change the way you see life, life also begins to change. When you learn how to think more peacefully, you will respond differently to difficulties. When you stop comparing yourself so much to others, your heart becomes lighter. When you stop feeding negativity, your soul gradually begins to heal. Many people spend their entire lives trying to control everything around them, but never learn how to control their own minds. They want to change other people, change circumstances, change life itself, but forget that the first thing that must change is the way they think every day. Because thoughts are not merely passing things inside the mind. Thoughts create emotions. Emotions create actions. Actions create habits, and habits will create your future. If every morning you wake up believing that life is unfair, that you are not capable enough, that everything will fail, then those very thoughts will slowly take away your inner strength. You will begin doubting yourself. You will lose the motivation to act, and eventually life will reflect exactly what you have always believed. On the other hand, if you learn how to direct your mind toward positivity, peace, and patience, you will gradually begin seeing light even in your darkest days. That does not mean life will no longer be difficult, but you will become stronger in the face of difficulty. You will no longer collapse so easily because of a few judgments or a few small failures. Buddhism does not teach us to escape life. Buddhism teaches us to understand our mind so that we can live more consciously. A person who masters their thoughts is not easily manipulated by negative emotions. They do not allow anger to control their actions. They do not allow fear to decide their future. And they do not allow wounds from the past to destroy the present. There is a very profound truth that many people realize too late. The life you are living today is the result of the thoughts you have been nurturing for a very long time. If you want the future to change, you must first change the inner world within yourself. Every positive thought is like a small drop of water nourishing the soul. At first, you may not notice the difference, but over time, your mind will gradually become stronger, clearer, and more peaceful. And when the mind changes, the way you live, the way you love, the way you face difficulties, all of it will begin to change as well. Sometimes, what causes people the greatest suffering is not failure itself, but the fact that they constantly tell themselves they will fail. The silent words inside the mind hold tremendous power. They can heal you or destroy you day by day, so be careful with what you think every day. Do not allow your mind to become a place filled with negativity, resentment, and fear. Turn it into a place that nurtures peace, wisdom, and compassion. Because your future is not created by luck alone. It is created by the thoughts you choose to nurture starting today. And perhaps the true journey of changing your life does not begin by chasing something outside yourself. It begins in the moment you sit down in silence, look deeply into your own mind, and realize, everything will change when I change first. Many people want to change their future, but they do not realize that the future is created from the smallest thoughts in the present moment, not tomorrow, not some special moment in the future, but from what you think when you wake up in the morning, the things you repeat in your mind every day, and the way you see yourself when no one else is around. According to Buddhist wisdom, the mind is like a flowing stream. If the water is constantly disturbed by worrying, fear, and negativity, a person will never see true peace. But when the mind becomes still, everything begins to appear more clearly, and that is when life begins to change. Much of human suffering does not come from external circumstances, but from the thoughts people hold in their minds for too long. A person who constantly thinks they are not good enough will gradually lose confidence. A person who constantly thinks life is unfair will live in resentment. A person who constantly believes they will fail will destroy their own opportunities before even beginning. Thoughts are not meaningless, invisible things. They quietly shape your life energy every single day, and over time, that energy creates your personality, your actions, and your future. That is why two people can live in the same circumstances yet have completely different lives. One person sees difficulty as the end. The other sees difficulty as a lesson for growth. One sinks into despair. The other still holds on to hope even in the darkest days. The difference is not in the outside world, it is in the inner world. Buddhism teaches that the mind is the source of all things. When the mind is restless, life becomes heavy. When the mind is filled with greed and comparison, a person will never feel enough. When the mind is filled with anger, every relationship becomes exhausting. But when the mind begins to heal, life also gradually changes. There are people who spend their entire lives chasing money, success, and recognition, believing those things will bring happiness. But even after achieving everything, they still feel empty, because inside they have never truly been at peace. They do not know how to be alone without feeling lonely. They do not know how to sit in silence without being consumed by negative thoughts. They do not know how to love themselves without the validation of others. That is why people are becoming increasingly exhausted. Even though modern life is filled with conveniences, we may be connected to the entire world, yet more disconnected from our own souls than ever before. Every day, our minds are filled with pressure, negative news, comparison, and the fear of being left behind. We look at other people's lives and feel we are not successful enough. We focus on what we lack and forget what we already have, and gradually the mind becomes a place filled with noise. Buddhism calls this the state of an unawakened mind. When the mind is swept away by every thought and the emotion, people lose the peace within themselves. They react to everything through temporary emotions. Rather than understanding, they let anger control their words. They let fear control their decisions. They let wounds from the past destroy the present. But the truth is, not every thought that appears in your mind is true. Just because you think you are worthless does not mean you truly are worthless. Just because you feel lonely does not mean no one loves you. Just because today is difficult does not mean the future will remain dark forever. Thoughts are like clouds drifting across the sky. If you do not learn how to observe them, you will be carried away by them. But when you begin to awaken, you realize that you do not need to believe everything your mind tells you. That is the first step toward inner freedom. A person who masters their mind will not easily collapse before life. They understand that everything is impermanent. Success will eventually change. Pain will eventually pass. The praise or criticism of others cannot determine their true worth. And so they no longer live only for recognition. They no longer force themselves to be perfect. They no longer allow the past to control the present. They begin living more slowly, thinking more deeply, and valuing peace above all else. There is a very profound truth in Buddhist wisdom. You become what your mind nourishes. If every day you nourish gratitude, you will gradually begin seeing the beauty in life. If every day you nourish kindness, your heart will become lighter. If every day you nourish peace, you will no longer be easily hurt by the outside world. But if you continuously nourish anger, resentment, and negativity, your soul will gradually become heavier without you even realizing it. Many people want to change their lives immediately, but true transformation always begins with very small things, from the way you speak to yourself, from the thoughts you allow to remain in your mind, from whether you choose peace or continue feeding negativity. Every thought is like a seed. At first, it is very small and almost invisible, but over time, it grows and creates the garden inside your soul. If you plant seeds of fear, your life will become filled with anxiety. If you plant seeds of anger, your life will become filled with exhaustion. But if you plant seeds of awareness and peace, your future will gradually begin changing in a more positive direction. The most dangerous thing is not that life is difficult. It is that people live with negative thoughts for so long that they begin seeing them as their true nature. They think, I cannot change. I was born inadequate. I will never be happy. But the Buddha taught that everything can be transformed when people change from within. No one is born completely strong or completely weak. Your mind is shaped by what you repeat every day. If every day you learn to forgive a little more, become a little calmer, feel a little more gratitude, then over time, your life will also become very different. True change does not happen overnight. It happens quietly like the rising sun, slowly but powerfully. And then one day, you will realize that you are no longer the person you used to be. You are no longer easily hurt by the words of others. You are no longer so afraid of the future. You no longer live only to please everyone, because by then you have understood one very important truth. The outer life always reflects the inner world within you. When your mind changes, the way you see life also changes. When your perspective changes, your decisions change. And when your decisions change, your future also begins to change. So observe carefully what you think every day, because today's thoughts do not only create temporary emotions, they are quietly creating the person who will become in the future. Finally, after everything we have reflected on together today, perhaps the most important thing each person needs to remember is this: your life does not truly change when your circumstances change. It begins to change when the world inside you changes first. Many people spend their entire lives searching for a better future. They believe that if they had more money, more success, or more love, they would finally be happy. But according to Buddhist wisdom, the future is not created at some distant point in time. It is created every single day through the small thoughts you quietly nurture within your mind. Every thought carries its own power. One positive thought can help you rise again after the darkest days. One negative thought repeated over and over can quietly destroy the peace inside you without you even realizing it. And sadly, many people have lived with negative thoughts for so long that they believe those thoughts are who they truly are. They believe they are not good enough. They believe they will never be happy. They believe life is nothing but pain and disappointment. But the Buddha once taught that everything can be transformed. No pain lasts forever. No night remains dark eternally. And no soul is beyond healing. When a person begins turning inward to change themselves, maybe today you are still exhausted. Maybe there are still wounds inside you that you cannot even name. Maybe every night you are still fighting negative thoughts that no one else can see. But please, do not lose hope, because true change always begins with very small things. Just by blaming yourself a little less today, comparing yourself to others a little less, learning to forgive a little more, learning to remain calmer in the face of life's difficulties, then over time your mind will slowly begin to change. And when your mind changes, your life will begin to change with it, just as small drops of water can eventually fill an entire ocean. The thoughts you nourish every day are quietly shaping your future. That is why protecting your mind is so important. Be careful about what you allow to remain in your heart. Be careful with the way you speak to yourself. Be careful with the thoughts you repeat every single day, because the mind can become the most powerful place of healing, but it can also become the place that causes you the deepest suffering. There are people living in very difficult circumstances whose souls remain peaceful, while there are others who seem to have everything, yet inside they are always empty and restless. The difference is not in what they possess, but in the way they think about life. A person with a peaceful mind will not let a few small failures destroy their entire life. A person with an awakened mind will not allow the words of others to determine their worth. A person who understands Buddhist wisdom will realize that true happiness does not come from having more, but from having a lighter soul. Perhaps one of the greatest freedoms a human being can have is the ability to choose what they will nourish in their mind every day. You can continue holding on to resentment, or choose to let go so your heart becomes lighter. You can continue living in fear, or choose to believe that you are strong enough to keep moving forward. You can look at life through negativity or learn to see it through awareness and gratitude. And those small choices will gradually shape the person you become in the future. Do not wait until life becomes perfect before allowing yourself to feel peaceful. Do not wait until every problem disappears before beginning to love yourself. Do not wait until you become successful before believing that you are worthy. Because peace does not come when life is free from storms. Peace comes when you learn how to keep your mind calm in the middle of the storm. That is true strength. Life will always change. People will come and go. There are things you try desperately to hold on to that you will eventually still have to let go of. But if you learn how to master your mind, you will no longer lose yourself so easily. And one day, when you look back on the road you have traveled, you will realize this: the things that once caused you pain no longer hold the same power. The fears that once kept you awake at night have slowly faded away, and the person who was once filled with anxiety has become much stronger. Not because life became easier, but because your mind became wiser. So from today onward, begin observing your thoughts. Do not let your mind become a place filled with negativity and fear. Turn it into a place that nourishes peace, wisdom, and compassion. Learn to spend more time in silence so you can listen to yourself. Learn to let go of things that no longer deserve your energy. Learn to love yourself even when you are not yet perfect, because your life will always move in the direction your mind is moving toward. If today you nourish peace, tomorrow you will live more lightly. If today you nourish hope, tomorrow you will have the strength to keep going. If today you begin believing in yourself, your future will also begin to change. And before this video ends, if you feel these teachings have touched your heart, leave a comment below with the words, "I choose to change from within." That is not just a sentence, but also a reminder to yourself on the journey of healing and growth. And if you want to continue exploring profound lessons about Buddhist wisdom, inner healing, and peace in modern life, subscribe to the channel and turn on notification so you do not miss the next videos. Who knows, perhaps just one small thought you change today could become the beginning of an entirely different future